What's up, guys? Finally getting around to my Carolina Panthers draft thoughts, and I'm really happy with what we did, especially on the offensive line. I feel like we all have hope, and that's all you can ask for, especially how bad the last few years have been. But I feel like on the offensive line, I'm not cringing as much anymore, and I'm actually excited to see how these guys gel. I think we finally found the Jordan Gross black tie left tackle that we've been starving for since he retired. Ike Ekwonu from North Carolina State University, local boy, bruiser of a run blocker, just had the entire package. Yes, his technique could use some sharpening, as everyone's can coming out of college. But I am so excited to watch him, and with the additions this offseason, Bradley Bozeman from Baltimore. You know Baltimore is an amazingly run organization. Bradley Bozeman has the stats to prove it, that he is one of the best in the business. Austin Colbert, 3-year, $29.5 million contract from the Super Bowl winning Los Angeles Rams. Really excited about that. You know what Taylor Moton gives you? Consistency beyond measure. Brady Christensen shifts to left guard, which I think he's more comfortable there. And he showed some really good things last year. Took some steps forward and didn't really give up too many pressures. We gave up so many that you really couldn't tell, but it wasn't a lot on the youngster, the rookie Brady Christensen, and I think he's going to take a big step forward this year with all these veterans in there. We also drafted Cade Mays out of the University of Tennessee, 272 snaps. He only allowed 1 sack and 5 QB pressures, and he can play everywhere, so the versatility, offensive line and depth in football at every position is like pitching in baseball. You can never have enough of it, and I really like the addition of Cade Mays, including along with Ike Ekwonu and our off-season gets on the offensive line. There should be no excuses. There should be a lot more explosive play opportunities at the very least for whoever is behind center for the Carolina Panthers this year and beyond. Matt Corral, getting him in the 3rd round, 94th pick for the 3rd round pick this year and a 4th next year. I think that's phenomenal value. He oozes athleticism. He has arm strength for days. It's not a Charlie check down thing. He will let it rip, and I absolutely love it. Love him for that. He's a dual threat. He can beat you in many different ways. The thing I worry, he's got to learn how to slide more, because he's not that big, burly guy that can take a bunch of hits like Cam Newton. You don't want that anyway. So he needs to learn how to slide. And I worry that when turnovers start happening, it kind of snowballed on him a little bit, but that happens to a lot of guys, so he'll need to work on that, obviously. But with a guy like Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, when things break down, it's easy to look for those type guys. So I love taking a guy like Matt Corral. It's not like it costs a lot. He's got so much potential. You got the dual threat and all of the skill players we do have on the offense will help. DJ Moore, 4 years of 1,000-yard receiving and rushing, the Deebo Samuel type. Christian McCaffrey has to stay healthy, but Matt Corral gives you all of it, and his intangibles as a leader, and as hard as he works, I've seen it at Ole Miss, and his willingness to learn and learn from his mistakes is something that you can't teach, and I think that's what we got in Matt Corral, and I can't wait to see this guy develop. And I also appreciate the fact that the Panthers, whether it was mixed in what quarterback we take, Wills or Ritter or whatever the case, I'm glad we finally said, okay, we're going to get a guy, we're going to mold him, and hopefully we mold him into a superstar. But as somebody said on Twitter, I don't know exactly who it was, but I completely 1,000% agree with this, and I wanted to give him credit. We can't just keep taking other teams' recycled projects and see what we can do with them. Sometimes you're already what you are in football, and sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. But getting a guy like Matt Corral with the amount of talent that he has and the dual threat ability and just so many playmakers that we have, Tommy Trimmel being young, Ian Thomas, and with our scheme with new offensive coordinator McAdoo, we will probably be a more downhill running team, which makes the Ike Ekwonu draft pick even better. So that's and takes pressure off Sam Darnold or Matt Corral whenever he does come in. And I think Matt Corral will sit at least 6 games, depending on how the season starts, because I think he'll be better off if he soaks it in more. But who knows? He might come in and light it up in training camp, and we'll be forced to throw him out there. But I love every intangible thing I see about Matt Corral, the leadership, everything, and I'm happy and excited to see how his Carolina Panther career evolves. And I hope he's a QB1 for a long time and be one of our best picks ever. I like everything. And he played in the SEC, so he's been at the best competition, and he's lit up a lot of defenses, not Georgia's defense last year because nobody did, but I'm just saying he's got all the tools in the toolbox, and I can't wait to see it develop and to see it mature in the NFL game. So I can't wait, and happy that you're in the QC, Matt Corral, and just really, really excited there. The fourth round pick, Braden Smith, really excited. A linebacker from Penn State, hadn't given up a touchdown in coverage in 200 in 2 years with Penn State, so that's something to write home about. And we needed linebacker depth with Jermaine Carter Jr. leaving for Kansas City. So I really like that, and you can learn from Shaq Thompson and all those other guys that we brought in, the veterans. Really, really excited there. Amari Barnco. Sorry, I probably messed that one up, but he's a defensive end from Virginia Tech. Really like that. He's probably a situational pass rusher right now, 4.36. The fastest 40 for a defensive end since 2003. Really, really like his potential. 16 tackles for loss in the COVID-shortened 2020 year. Again, nothing to write home, sneeze at as a defender there. So really like the value, because I think he was a 4th round grade and he slipped to the 6th round, so I really like that. And then we got a cornerback from Baylor, of course, because why not? It's Matt Rule. He is the ultimate speedster, 4.23, and 11.1 broad jump, so he's got a lot of skills and a lot of intangibles. Nice pick in the 7th round for 242. Really like that. Kalen Barnes, I believe is his name. So really, really happy with the value and the depth pieces and the cornerstones that we were able to get in this draft, along with what we did in free agency, there is a lot of hope. Will it pan out because we're playing the AFC West, which is loaded, and the NFC West? I don't know, but at least there's some light at the end of the tunnel with this rebuild, especially with Matt Corral and kind of getting our guy and formulating a plan and understanding what our offense is planning to be in the future. And who knows, maybe Sam Darnold with a revamped offensive line can rediscover the magic or find some magic. But I definitely am very, very hopeful and happy for what the Panthers have done this weekend. Hopefully, we can add a safety maybe and a return specialist. Bakari Rambo, maybe that, an undrafted free agent out of the University of Miami. He's a big-time speedster, and that's kind of the theme of day 3 of the draft for the Panthers. I really, really am excited. As always, keep pounding. Go Panthers.